once we have enough understanding or they're able to notice in the moment patterns, then it's going, okay, what are the skills that we need in order to be able to make a different decision? So with Jack, there was a lot of fused content around physical sensations as well, like fatigue. That was a big one, as well as thoughts. And so for the fatigue, what I might practice is just having him describe in detail what exhaustion feels like. And at first he would say to me, he's like, I'm exhausted. I want to go to sleep. Like, that is what it feels like. I can't do anything. And I was like, cool, you just described a lot of thoughts. I can't do this. I want to go to sleep. Awesome. Great noticing. Those are thoughts. If you feel exhaustion, do you feel exhaustion in your face? Yeah, I feel like my eyelids are really heavy. Great. Okay, so your eyelids get really heavy. And can we just practice for a moment, like opening our eyes? Can you do that? And he'll say, like, yeah, obviously my eyes are open. It just feels harder. Okay, cool. So we're noticing the distinction between it feels this way, but I'm able to do a behavior. It feels like I can't open my eyes but it's really just harder to do it. And then he would notice like he'd feel like cramping in his back because he'd be sitting at a desk all day long. Okay, does it feel like an ache, a pulsing, a sharp lightning bolt of something? And just getting him to lean into curiosity around those sensations, how to describe them, allowed him just to get a little space because he had to pause and go, oh, I don't know the answer to that question, and pay attention for a second. Now, doing this, creating the diffusion exercises doesn't make the sensation go away, but what it's doing is it's essentially taking it from being here, like it's just all consuming, blocking our experience, to just being right here. We're still aware of it. It's still in our periphery, but we're able to look up and engage with the rest of the world. So clients experiencing burnout will be very apathetic, maybe feel exhausted, a lot of fatigue. Some of them will experience a lot of like irritability or anger if what has caused their burnout are like other people that they work with or like systemic issues in their company that just feel maybe very unfair or unethical. And so all we want to do is help to describe what that experience feels like, and then be able to just practice some curiosity around it. And then the follow-up piece is recognizing, can I feel exhausted? Right? Can my eyelids feel heavy? And I can still open my eyes. Can I feel that like numbing effect? And can I practice peeling down that film and just looking at my wife, being curious about what she looks like, what the tone of her voice is saying, even if it's for 30 seconds. And we draw in values at this point of connecting the decisions or the behaviors that someone's going to make is going to be based on what's important to them in that moment. So, for example, he's supposed to end work at 7 because he's going to have dinner with his wife. And the phone call comes in. He looks down and he notices, he feels that, intensity that I have to answer the phone. Okay, I'm noticing that. I'm noticing I made this commitment to my wife. I'm remembering that I haven't answered the phone before and the world hasn't ended. And then once we're getting a little space from it, we can make a different decision. And these movements are going to be very small. It's going to be 30 seconds of focus. It's going to be describing it in 2 sentences. It's going to be literally just closing the computer. We're not talking about starting a whole new career, running away to a farm, or we're not talking about telling off our boss in a meeting or something like that. We're talking about small little steps that help create a little bit of energy, a little bit of space, a little bit of time, so that when those things add up together, it just gives clients a little bit of traction. When people feel burnt out, they feel very stuck. So instead of going from here all the way over there, a mile down the road, we're going to say, what does it feel like to pick your foot up and take 1 step and then another step? Because that is the way that progress is going to be made over time for the most part. Even if someone's making a radical shift, they're quitting their job, they're making a career pivot, whatever it is, it's still those little build-up moments that then lead to that pivot. And then when it comes to thoughts, we can do some very simple exercises. And I've done them throughout this example, but it might simply be saying and having clients practice saying, I'm noticing my mind is saying X. Or, oh, there's my mind again. People can name their mind. I've had clients like name their mind, maybe something kind of sassy or something grumpy, and or give it a human name. And that gives them a little bit of space to be able to go like, that's just Frank. He's in a bad mood right now, and kind of move on. Or coming up with some type of avatar for your mind. So for clients who are good at visualization, one of the things I'll often ask them, and I asked this of Jack, is if you could imagine your burnout as like an animal that's following you around or kind of some creature, what would it be? And people be kind of like, that's an odd question. Like, yep, totally weird thought experiment. We're just going to run with it for a second. What would that be? And he might say it's a mouse. It's like this anxious mouse that keeps crawling up my legs and whispering in my ear, saying all the things I should be doing and I'm behind. Kind of like that rabbit in Alice in Wonderland. I'm late. Okay, and if we gave that mouse a name, it could be a pet name like Sprinkles. It could be a human name. I don't know why I keep going back to Frank. What would it be? And clients might initially give you a little pushback. That's okay, because it's a weird exercise. We're just going to acknowledge the weirdness of it. But let's say he says, we'll just use Sprinkles. Sprinkles the mouse. What that does is it gives you something that is separate from himself to ask about in every session. It's a metaphor that continues through the sessions. So for example, if he's talking about trying to set boundaries or trying to make differences and struggling with it, I might say, what is Sprinkles saying right now? What is Sprinkles doing right now? It helps give concrete, tangible feel to something that feels very abstract and hard to grab onto, like your mind or burnout. Now, not all clients connect with this, and even just kind of going, oh, that's my mind, or oh, that's burnout talking can be really useful. My body feels this way, and it's telling me I can't possibly do this. And I'm able to go out and do these things. And today, Jack has set really clear boundaries at work. He still works a bunch because he's a CEO, but he finishes work every night at 7 p.m. He doesn't start work till 7:30 a.m. And for some people, that might seem like a really long day, but his work requires an extensive amount of work. But he makes dinner with his wife in the evenings. They go out to a movie at least once every other week. He spends a couple of hours on the weekend volunteering. He's takes breaks during the workday to do stretches, so he doesn't have as much back pain, and has even started going to physical therapy to be able to kind of help strengthen some of those areas. His life hasn't stopped being stressful. His work hasn't stopped being stressful, right? That's a context we don't get to choose. But the way that he shows up to those experiences has allowed him to continue with his work, allowed him to put effort and energy into the other things outside of his life that are important. And when I talk to him about his life, it's not, I am a CEO and that's all I am. It's, I am Jack and I work at this company in the role of CEO. And there's a big distinction between those things. So I hope that you have found this helpful and useful, and know that even if someone hasn't gotten to the point where they're experiencing an adjustment disorder or a depressive episode, that there's still a lot of great work that you can do to help them be present, connect with the things that matter to them, and recognize what contexts aren't working for them and maybe make a change, or what thoughts and feelings and rules are holding them back from living the life that they want to live. And that's ACT for Burnout.